Hi there. This video is going to explain to you how to use a sentiment analysis on R using its package Shuje, and I'll be using a TXT file, meaning it's for those literary scholars who want to conduct the sentiment analysis on your individual or multiple TXT files. And if you want to do something like this with all the color codes and specific titles, this video will be helpful for you. Before anything, we need to open up the library, and we'll be using the default sentiment analysis package that R has, which is Shuje. And then we'll need the library Zoo in order to make a graph out of it. So before importing the library, we need this little thing, and then library Zoo. Okay. So we'll be using this command get sentiment that Shuje has. However, we need a string in order to get the sentiment value, and text files as they are not strings. So we need to use this command get text as string to change this into string. And for that, we need path to file. And for that, since it's already open, we just need to type in its name as well as the txt at the end. If you say enter, it will just open up the text as string, but we want to save it into a variable. So let's just call it t1, which would be text1 for us. And now we have t1 saved, which is the large string. Okay, so we can do get sentiment on this now because it's string. And it gives us this number, which is the average of every single sentiment value for each word in this novel. However, we know that this is not helpful or useful in any way because it's a novel. It's supposed to have its ups and downs sentiment-wise. And this is not useful. So in order to make it useful, we're gonna try to make a graph out of it. The x-axis, let me type it in, x-axis would be the narrative time or the sentences. When there are sentences 1 through 2000 in a very short novel, it'll give us narrative time when it's plotted in a graph as x-axis because if it's sentence 1, it'll be the beginning of the narrative time. If it's sentence 2000, it'll be the end of the narrative time. So this is what we need. And for y-axis, we need the sentiment value, but not just anything, per sentence. So this is the variable that we need right now. So let's start with the x-axis. We need the sentences. We, as of now, have this gigantic string, which will look like this. It's not divided up at all, so we need to divide it into sentences. So let's use this command get sentences T1, and with that, we're gonna save it in T1 sentences. So now we have it. So if we try and check it out, this is how it looks like. It has all the sentences divided up like this, and it has a lot of entries. Okay, so we have the x-axis. And now for the y-axis, which was a sentiment value per sentence, we need to do the get sentiment command on each sentence. So it'll be on T1 sentences, and we want to save it in T1 sentiments. Okay, it's saved. So this will show us the sentiment value for each sentence. So let's check it out. Yep, we have all the sentences. It has a lot of entries again. All right, so we have the x-axis and the y-axis. However, they're just raw data, as you see right here. So we use the valence for sentiment values in our graphs. And for that, we need a little procedure going on, and I'll be just typing them up and you can copy and paste it. I will be sharing it in the link in the description. So let's just do this. And then now we'll do the rolling mean for our sentiment values. So we'll be using roll mean. And because it's a roll mean, we need the k value, which would be the T1 window. And now finally, we need to scale it. Long story short, we are ready to plot the graph. So you can personalize the graph a lot, but let me first show you the basic form of it. So we'll be using this simple plot function, and if I just plot this, it works. It looks a little weird. It's actually not a line, but it's the little plots, like literal points that is happening, but we want it to be a lined graph. So let's, for this, we'll be using type. And this right here is type B, but we want the lined graph, so it'll be L. And now it's a line. Okay, now we'll be adding some proper title to each axis. So let's do that. So we'll be adding X lab would be the x-axis's name, and this would be narrative time. And for Y lab, it would be, now we have the names, but we also need the like big title for that, which would be main. And now we have it. Finally, I'm going to show you how to change the color of it, which is just simply COL, and you can type in the color values like this, but you can also just simply type blue. Okay, now it worked. Okay, so now we have the plot for one text, but what if you want to do many texts? For that, I'll show you how it works. So first of all, we need the T2, which would be text 2, and do the same thing, get. And I'll be getting T2 sentence first, sentences. And then T2 sentiment would be get. And we also need to do the scaling. I am getting a lot of typos over here. Okay, so I have the T2 ready here, and how it's gonna work is, so I will just bring in the first thing we did. So the first part starts the same. We just do the same thing for T1, and I just added a Lost World for the title. But then here, you will do Shift Enter, or just continue here, but I like to just make a new line, and we will get the function lines. And here we will get the T2 and repeat. And here you don't really need to do anything else because it's all defined up there. You may want to change the color because maybe confusing. It could be red, yellow, whatever. I will just do red. And now we have it. The red would be T2, which is Lost World, and the blue would be T1, which is Coral Island. So we now have the sentiment pattern for Coral Island and Lost World. However, I need to stress that this alone is not enough for many cases in an effective analysis of a novel or a literary work, particularly because novels are supposed to have its ups and downs, and close reading is more than enough to deduce where is the high point and where is the low point. So for that, I highly recommend that you do another pair of analyses in order to get a better use of this sentiment analysis right here. I recommend that you find the keyword. It could be extracted from close reading, or you can just find the keyword somehow. and compare it with this graph and see where that keyword appears and compare it to the sentiment values that it shows in this narrative time. And then you can see the undertone for that keyword thanks to the sentiment analysis. More on that is explained in my published paper, and I'll be linking it down in the description. But for the sake of this video, I have shown you how the sentiment analysis using Shujie works on R, and I hope it was helpful because most of the time I just see RStudio or just R used on Excel files or database files, not text files. So if you were looking for this, I hope it was helpful.